this for me. We can't do anything by working with each other.
Come on, kids, take a shot. Show them what we really got.
We can't do anything by working with each other.
Welcome to another episode of Go Ape Podcast. I'm Jon Randall. With me as always,
Brandon Gehringer.
hello, Brandon.
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's up with you?
Not much.
What you got to talk about?
There was something you were going to ask me my opinion of. What was it? I don't even remember. This podcast is already gone awry.
So the other day was Force Friday or something?
Force Friday. That would be yesterday.
Yeah. And I started to think about, I started looking at all the stuff, all the toys and the models and the action figures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got that Black series that you were collecting.
Right.
And they've got them now with the new figures.
Okay.
Like the Kylo Ren and General Phasma, I guess her name is.
Okay.
And I've got to say that after looking at all of them, and I saw some more like pictures and stills and stuff like that, I'm looking forward to the movie. I finally admitted that I'm actually kind of jazzed to see it.
Moving on. Stupid Star Wars.
I don't know. I think it's going to be pretty neat from what I can see. From what I could tell of it, I think it's going to be pretty neat. I think.
Are you going to go see it in the theater?
I don't know. It matters how I have to hear from word of mouth from other people.
Okay.
But I think that it will. It's going to be. I do believe it will be much better than obviously the prequels.
Could be much worse.
No, it's very easy to do, and so right there, it's already going to be pleasing.
Right.
But, I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But I'm getting a little bit jazzed for it. A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit jazzed.
Okay.
What else is going on with you?
I bought a new video game today.
You sure did.
I bought Madden 16.
Yep. After all these years.
Yeah, this is the first time I've bought a Madden game new in, I would say, probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably 10 years. I haven't bought a brand new Madden game in 10 years.
Yep. And you're enjoying it, or what? How's the view of it? You've played it all day.
I did play it for a very long time today, several hours.
What is your view of it?
So far, I'm enjoying the game.
Well, good.
It definitely has a lot of mechanics to it.
Yeah.
A lot of strange button combinations and whatnots.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I'm enjoying the game.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that.
I do want to bring up something. We are no longer allowed to watch movies that aren't completely awful. Because I looked at our downloads for Congo after 1 week.
Yeah.
17 downloads. Oof. Embarrassingly low.
I wonder if it's because so many people saw that movie and they didn't want to relive it again.
Probably so.
That's probably what it is.
Who's Kafka? So yeah, I think we got 17 downloads of that.
Well, this movie that we did tonight's not going to help then.
No, this movie's exactly what we need for our podcast.
You think so?
Yeah, because people like garbage films and they like to hear us make fun of them.
Yeah, and we do say the word garbage a lot.
We have no choice.
Garbage and trash.
Yeah.
And shit. And ass. And balls.
And pedophiles.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, there's definitely that tonight. What else is going on? There's got to be something else going on with you.
I got some Dewshine here.
Yeah, Mountain.
It's a new drink that you've come to like.
I enjoy it. It's a citrus.
It says it'll tickle.
It'll tickle your innards.
Oh, your innards.
Innards. I got something that'll tickle your innards.
That's terrible.
It's a citrus Mountain Dew. It's made with real sugar.
Okay.
You like the smell?
Smells okay.
It's like it's not as carbonated as Mountain Dew.
Well, you keep talking about it. I'm gonna take my first sip of Dewshine as you talk about it.
And I don't expect nobody I've given it to other than some people enjoyed it. Most people do not enjoy it. Take you a second sip before you say anything about it. He's had his first sip, everybody. And now this is only sold as of right now on Amazon, which is odd. And you can actually get it in a cool glass jug, like an old looking obviously like a moonshine jug. And it's sold at Walmart's, and that's where I purchased it, at Walmart. It comes in a little 4 thing of. But there's something for me. The thing about it is that since it's not that carbonated, I know people would say that what kind of tastes flat, but it's not flat. But I feel like I can just down like 3 of them.
Excuse me.
Oh, he's ready.
I approve of Dewshine.
Oh, good.
It's not bad.
That's not bad, is it?
No, it's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. And you can taste that type of pure sugar that's in it. Like there's something different about it. The way it messes with your mouth.
They call that cane sugar.
Oh, I see. What else? What's going on? There's got to be something else going on with you. We got to put more stuff on the back end before we hit this thing.
I thought for sure that there was something that we needed to talk about.
Well,
We're always going to do it on the podcast.
Well, we always do about stuff like this, and then we forget about it. And then I'll be listening to this podcast 4 or 5 times this week.
Right.
And I'll be like, damn, we should have talked about that.
Well, you're in the majority listening to it that many times.
Oh, yeah, that's true. A lot of them are
people
mine.
love this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I got you a movie. Your birthday present came in the mail
The
today.
Devil's Sword. It's an Indonesian fantasy flick. It says sex, savagery, and mystical martial arts. An astounding voyage into the unknown.
As long as it took to get here, I think it came from Indonesia.
It probably did. An outrageous journey into a world where sex and magic breed monsters.
Well,
I've noticed
you can't ask for more than that.
No, a lot of my movies have become more and more smutty as I start collecting more and more. I don't know, lost, cheesy schlock movies, I guess.
I suppose you still consider this sword and sorcery.
Yeah, it's listed as a sword and sorcery.
Let me see this
movie,
film.
but we'll see.
Let me describe the cover to people. Okay, it's got Barry Pepper.
It's not Barry Pepper.
Holding a sword.
That's Barry Prima. Everybody knows that. Well known in India.
And he's
Indonesia.
he's hitting a guy who looks like Kickin' Wing from Joe Dirt.
Mm-hmm. And Joe Dirt too.
And it's got a woman laying on a couch with a crocodile around the back of it.
She's not wearing much clothes.
No, she's not. And I think Gamera is down here.
Yep, Gamera's there in the corner.
So yeah,
and some alligator men down at the bottom left.
Wow, the back of this looks promising for
it. Does.
This is our post-podcast film.
Yeah, this is that's what we do. We watch a movie for the podcast. We do the podcast,
and then we watch a worse movie usually after the podcast.
Yeah, we eat a lot of snacks that we shouldn't be, and we watch an even worse movie usually.
It's gonna be tough to top tonight.
Oh, this is.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell our listeners. Brandon picked tonight's film.
I did.
And
we had seen this movie before.
Oh yeah. I saw this movie when I was a kid.
Yeah,
not in the theater. I can finally say for once I didn't see this in the theater, but I know I definitely saw it as a kid. You said it best earlier. I don't think we can set the bar much lower.
No, this is about as low. Is this lower than Leonard Part 6?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They're both really bad. Mm-hmm. They're both real bad.
Yeah.
This is at least on par with it.
Oh, definitely.
They came out of the same trash can.
That's true. Oh, I wanted to let you know, just so it gets out of my head here, before I could say it. I actually saw an article about since Jurassic Park World was kind of a reboot for Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic World, yes.
Yeah.
I saw an article that said, "Is it time for a Jaws reboot?"
I've actually already heard that from somebody.
Hey, what is your views on that?
Somebody at my work asked me that. Here's the thing. I'm just gonna enjoy what I have.
That's right.
It's never gonna be top, dude. It's never gonna be top.
Yep. Enjoy what you got.
I mean, you're talking about the film that they literally coined the term blockbuster for. Like, that's where that came from, is because all the people that were standing around the block waiting to get in to see Jaws. Like, that's where the term came from.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you'll never beat that. Right. The movie is historic, and it's amazing, and you'll never get a cast like that in a film again. Either.
No.
It just won't happen. So, I don't care. Go ahead. Make it a reboot. I don't have to see it.
It'll be Jaws, directed by the guy who's done Fast and Furious movies.
James Wan.
Okay. And then I heard that Vin Diesel is going to come back for another XXX movie.
I heard that as well.
I'm down for that. Okay. I'm a big fan of the first one.
Wait, did they make a second one?
Yeah.
Oh, but it had Ice Cube
in it. State of the Union.
State of the Union.
XXX 2, State of the Union. No, thank you. Did not watch that. It didn't have Vin Diesel in it. We enjoy Vin Diesel, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad.
He's not bad.
He's not bad.
Not much to
really. There's not much to him, but it's fine.
Not much to him.
He's what I expected. Yeah. He's what I want in the roles that he plays.
Yeah, and then anytime you want to give me back my muscles that I let you borrow, you could give those back to me, please.
Yeah. And anytime you want to give me back the breakdancing skills I'll let you borrow, you can give me those back.
He does need those breakdancing skills back. Everybody knows that.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Is that about it? That's about it. Dragon Con's going on.
It is this weekend. Yep. I considered going today.
Because we have gone many times in the past.
Many times. And I looked up on their website today, because when I woke up this morning, I was like, do I want to go to Dragon Con? Because I was looking at my Twitter feed, and a guy I follow is there as a celebrity guest. And I saw some of his tweets, and I was like, do I want to go? I was like, let me check how much it is for a single day entry. $50 for Saturday.
And what'd you think about that?
It was enough to make me go, nah, I'm not doing that. $50. I mean, come on. $50 for one day.
Oh boy. No,
and then the whole reason I want to go is to get an autograph from one particular person who was probably charging $30 to $40 for the autograph, which essentially makes it like an $80 autograph.
No,
that's a thumbs down with that sound, people.
Yeah, if you're going to do a convention like that, you might as well. You need to go pretty much the whole time and
get your money's worth.
Get your money's worth. I mean, I understand if you've got a family, you've got multiple things you want to do, bring them there. It's going to cost you a lot more money. But yeah, we usually go, but we didn't go this year. And from my people on the inside, it is extremely packed. The crowds are huge, and yeah, it's a real wall-to-wall flesh circus.
Well, I also want to say, as a member of the media,
Ooh,
I do not remember the last time I went to that show and paid to go to that show.
True. You used to have.
I'd get like 4-day pass for free.
Journalist powers.
Yeah. So it's like that was the other thing. I can't bring myself to pay for it when I've gone free so many times. I'm just like,
yeah, I understand. It's like, yeah.
And it's $40 tomorrow, $30 for Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Well, Monday's like a half day.
But
too.
And
everybody's gone.
Everybody's leaving. All the celebrities are pretty much leaving first thing Monday morning. So it's like, if you're going for autographs or something, what's the point? You're not going to get anybody.
Yeah, you can have to get like a third of the people of the celebrities that still stick around.
And it's the real dredge celebrities.
Some of them. It's.
You're doing fist bumps with Brent Spiner on the last day.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
that Monday.
Hey, what's going on? I don't shake hands, just fist bumps. Understandable. You've been touching a lot of people. All right, so this is Garbage Pail Kids, the movie.
Wow, you really sprung that on them.
Yeah.
Just like you did me.
Yeah.
Recommending it.
So
I want to say real quick, neither of us own this film.
No. We had to rent it.
We had to rent this movie. We paid $4 hard-earned American dollars so we could see it in 1080p.
I bought Jonathan a king-size Payday
Yep.
and a Fruit Punch Gatorade. That was my half of this.
That was his half of the film, and I spent $4 American on Garbage Pail Kids, the movie, so we could watch it in glorious 1080p.
That's true.
And it was crystal clear.
So this movie, let's go back. Let's go back to a simpler time.
Yeah, let's take you back.
Garbage Pail Kids. The cards came out.
Tops
made these cards.
They came with bubblegum.
Some people might not know. It just might be. They just don't know. They might be from over. We have some international listeners.
We do.
We have some interstellar listeners, I believe, probably.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
A big part of our downloads come from Alpha Centauri.
Oh, I see. So, isn't that where...
I don't know.
Okay. So, Garbage Pail Kids was a very popular line of trading cards that came with bubblegum, like you said.
Yep.
Made by Topps, the company,
Yep.
And they were cartoon depictions of young kids, and they were a mockery of the Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah.
And they were called Garbage Pail Kids.
And I don't know if the original sets were this way, but eventually all the trading cards, if you didn't want them as trading cards, were stickers.
Yes.
You could peel them right off of the card, and you could stick them to whatever you wanted.
And they were traded around. They were a hot commodity because they were gross, in quotation marks. They had weird, funny names. Like my personal favorite one was Max the Axe, and all he was an executioner, and in front of him was a big basket full of severed heads.
Mm-hmm. I remember him.
But they always made two of them. Most of them, I believe. Some of them, I'm not sure. My Garbage Pail Kid lore is low.
Yeah.
They would have a different name.
Yeah,
like
but it was always
name.
it's the exact same card with a different name.
Right.
It's like they all had a twin.
Right, and there was always like some guy. I remember there's the guy that had like his finger in his nose, and his finger
was coming out the top of his head.
Yeah, it was busting out through his brains at the top of his head. So they pushed the limit on social, norms of
what was acceptable.
Yeah, what was acceptable
for children.
For children to have like somebody. I remember there was one that was like pulling their skin off their bones, or maybe sneezing their skin. I don't know. They just had a bunch of vomit, and they had and the vomit always had like apple cores and fish bones in it, which always made me laugh. And it was almost like the equivalent of like something you'd see like in Mad Magazine, but they had taken it to a really good level of trading them, trying to get the alternate name, and there were some real popular ones there, and there was tons of multiple series of them.
Yeah.
And they're still sold today.
I still recall that they had up to like Series 16.
Yeah.
And if you look on eBay, some of those early series go for a bunch of money.
Sure.
Like a complete set of like the first couple series, like $400 a piece.
And we used to see kids with. I used to see kids they had used them as stickers. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what I did.
Jeez.
I had a scrapbook, right, as a kid, And I took it and I peeled all my cards and I stuck them across the pages like in a rows, you know, kind of like as if you would have had sleeves for baseball trading cards. I just took the stickers and stuck them in rows across all these pages, and I had that book with all my stickers in it, like with all those characters.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't do that, man. That was off limits for me. But they were very popular, and so in 1987, this movie came out, Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Did you do the research on the film?
I did. I've got it right here. Would you like to see what it is?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well,
the research.
Yeah,
Nobody did any research on this film.
Okay, well, this is the guy who directed it, and he also wrote it and produced it. He co-wrote it, I guess I should say. His name is Rod Amato. I don't know. Looks like amateur, but there's no R in the end.
Oh, it's amateur, all right.
Amato or Chio. I don't know. This was his last movie he directed, so he learned his lesson.
What?
Yeah.
So he was the Courtney Solomon of 1987.
Yep. Guess what the budget was for this movie? It was $1 million. It
I was going to say $250,000.
was $1 million.
Okay, $1 million. How much did it make?
$1.5 million.
That's a profit. So I'm going to go ahead and say right now that's better than some of the other films we've watched.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's a profit.
And so, yeah, it is. It did not make much money. It has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's no numbers, people. Zero.
Yeah. It receiving no positive reviews from the site's critics. 0. But we'll talk about it. Then we'll talk about what the critics said along with ourselves. It was nominated for Golden Razzies.
How many?
3.
27 Razzies.
Worst New Star, The Garbage Pail Kids, nominated. It won none.
That's disappointing.
Worst Original Song, You Can Be a Garbage Pail Kid.
Yes. Okay.
Worst Visual Effects, nominated.
I gotta be honest, I can't believe it didn't win for that. Like, what could have possibly beat this film in these categories?
Yeah, we'll read about this here at the end, but it's enjoyable. Okay, so we'll get right into it. I originally did not watch this movie at all. Like, when I first heard about it, it was almost like, it was just one of these things where I was like, why are they making a movie about that? How did you make a movie about that? You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense. Like, how do you make a movie about these things? Okay, it starts off, and you've got the credit scene, all right? And it's like a star field, and you see these cards, and there's music, this 80s music, because this is 1987 or so. You see these Garbage Pail Kids cards are floating through space, and you realize these are the actors in the movie that have been turned into Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
And I would say that that's actually quite clever. Like, you get to see the Garbage Pail Kid card, and the actor playing the role has been changed into, their name, and they've been changed into a Garbage Pail Kid. Then it shows the Earth in the background. It's a terrible, terrible model or something that literally, like, shakes into existence. And then it shows a garbage pail. Now, this is something I got to ask you. The garbage pail through space looked like it was a spaceship.
It had rockets on the bottom.
But later on, we find out this has to do something with magic.
Yeah. Well, let me sum it up for you. I wrote this. God, this beginning.
Oh, it's
That's
unbelievable.
what I wrote.
It was unbelievable.
That's what I wrote. Because none of it makes sense.
And the music throughout this whole movie, there's only like one part where there's not music playing. The fashion show later on. There's just constant 80s
synth.
Yeah. Unbelievable synthesizer 80s music. Throughout the whole thing. It literally sounds like very bad rendition of Beverly Hills Cop theme. Like when he's walking around and stuff. Like extremely amateur version of that played throughout the whole movie. And then multiple, songs with singing, with some sort of, an actual singer singing a song throughout it. And it's songs you've never heard of. Like original songs for the movie. Absolutely horrific songs. So yeah, I've got written here, terrible music. And it shows all of a sudden this antique store on a sound studio set.
Are you sure this was a sound stage?
This whole movie, I think most of this movie is done on like a studio sound stage.
I don't believe there were. I mean, there was one real location, probably at the start of the film, in the park.
And some of the things maybe outside were kind of like that, like kind of maybe like in back alleys. I don't know,
maybe.
But it's in 90% of the movies at night. It's dark, like it's a dark movie. They're always out at night doing stuff.
And by the way, when I said glorious 1080p earlier, it's awful.
Yeah,
it's super grainy,
very grainy.
I kind of wish we'd have got it in 480 just to watch how terrible it looked.
Yeah. So the garbage pail is in this antique store. It's called Manzini's Antique Store.
I put somehow. I don't know how it got there. You don't know.
It's a spaceship, isn't it?
It's just there.
Isn't it a spaceship?
I thought so. But you never see the rocket boosters that were on the bottom of it again.
Again, you see them in space, but I just don't understand at all. That was, like, later on I was thinking back, I was like, what the fuck was it doing in space?
This movie will cause you to think back about a lot of things.
Oh my God. This movie is incredible, dude. like when we were sitting through it, I was just like, this is amazing.
This movie made me want to blow my brains out. I didn't want to watch it.
He was really squirming in this one.
I really hated this film.
So all of a sudden, green slime starts to pour out of the garbage pail in the antique store, like out of the top or something, right? It falls over, maybe, or
no, it just started bubbling over.
It started bubbling up, and you start hearing these kids' voices.
Yeah,
like maybe coming out of the pail.
I put "kids come out?" because all you do is you hear a bunch of laughing, running around, and you start seeing things moving around in the antique shop.
There's tomfoolery, there's ballyhoo, hijinks. You start seeing a lot of that stuff,
right?
And a man hears it. He's a British man, obviously.
Yeah.
He comes down to investigate. This, we find out, is Manzini. Captain Manzini.
Cap'n.
Yeah.
C-A-P''N.
Captain my Captain. He puts the lid back on the pail, and on top of it, he puts a diver's helmet, like one of those old diver's helmets.
Yeah, like one of those old bronze diver's helmets, or brass, I guess, diver's helmets.
I've got incredible 80s music right here. I mean, it's a constant. It's an absolute in this film. There's a boy in a park. This is the part that's obviously outside.
This is the only scene that I believe that was not a soundstage.
He's being chased by a dude, and I've got to say it, a big-tittied woman behind him. She's got
big-tittied woman.
She's running behind.
They were bouncing all over the place.
Yeah, they were all over the place. And of course, I quickly zoned in on that. And you were looking at the hunky dude that was in, I think, a mesh shirt throughout the whole movie.
Oh yeah, it was fishnet.
Yeah,
his shirt, his fishnet tank top.
So 80s. I've got written.
It's a fishnet tank top.
Their hair, their outfits,
their fingerless gloves,
their sunglasses. The women have just huge bouffant, like
frizzy hair.
Yeah, super hairsprayed hair. This is just super 80s film.
Don't go look for this movie, people.
No, don't go chasing waterfalls either.
All right, continue.
And so he runs into a dude underneath a bridge, and this guy looks like Doug Masters from Iron Eagle. He's got fingerless gloves. He is a horrific actor. Like, I don't think he's ever acted.
He looks like he's trying to be Crockett from fucking Miami Vice, because he's got the jacket, he's got the collar pop, he's wearing sunglasses,
he's got the fanny pack, he's got the and he's okay. He's hilarious, and I don't know if his name was Juice or Juicy.
Yeah, it's true.
I wrote Juicy.
Juicy?
Yeah, I'm just going to call him Juicy.
Call him Juicy the whole movie.
Some of the names in this movie are very berserk names.
As you'll find out soon.
Yeah. I was like, okay, I don't know if they're saying Juice or Juicy, so let's just go with Juicy. So his name is Juicy. And so they rough him up. He gets roughed up by thugs and cool guys and girls.
This kid's name, by the way, people, is Dodger.
Yeah, this kid's name's Dodger.
Dodger.
His haircut is dubious.
He's played by Ethan Hawke. It's a very young Ethan Hawke.
It's not Ethan Hawke, but he does share certain likenesses to him.
The kid's name is Mackenzie Aston, possible relation to Sean or John Aston. We're going to call him Ethan Hawke for the film because that's what he looks like. He looks like a young Ethan Hawke. If you ever saw Explorers, that's your kid. So
they take his money and toss him into some muddy water. Thanks a lot, kid.
Not the blues singer people, but into an actual mud puddle.
Jesus. So back at Manzini's Antiques, the kid he goes there, and Manzini takes him in, and he wants to clean the boy up.
This is the first instance I wrote, Captain Manzini is a pedophile. And I'm going to have numerous things to support my theory in the film as we continue.
So yeah, there's a little bit of a dubious interactions between Manzini and this young boy, Dodger.
Yeah. He's dodging something, all right.
And apparently Dodger works there.
He sure does.
Yeah, he works.
Polishing things up.
Yeah. He's only 14 years old. I don't know how he's got this job. And just to let you know, this movie has no hair at all. Just not even a shred of his parents in it. Nothing. This kid lives by himself. You don't even know where he lives.
No, you don't.
You don't see where he lives. You don't see his house, his parents. You see nothing about him like that throughout this whole movie.
He's a 14-year-old kid hanging out with an old British man in an antique shop.
Yeah, he's
that, by the way, never gets any customers because he even makes the comment in this scene, how do you stay open? We've only ever had 2 customers and they didn't buy anything.
Place probably creeped him out.
This guy is keeping a living 14-year-old boy into his antique shop.
Yeah, he looks like Hoggle from Labyrinth, the old man does. But yeah, I thought it was amazing that here they have a movie, and this movie ultimately suffers from it doesn't know what the hell it is whatsoever. So they didn't try to say, hey, this is a young boy and let's show his parents and work with some edge, some sort of twist on his family life. No, he's just going to be like a street urchin, pretty much, that works for this old antiques guy. He doesn't go to school, doesn't even mention it.
It's summertime. It's summer break.
There's nothing about, there's no character plot with this Dodger kid.
There's no plot.
No, well, there's no plot for much of the movie. And that's probably detrimental. I said, he works there, blah, blah.
There you go.
Tells him he got into a fight. He's like, I got into a fight and I lost.
I told you, he's there polishing things for Manzini. Yep. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. I said blah, blah about stuff.
Okay.
Because they talk again after, I'm like, okay, it's just gibberish about him and his antiques, and I didn't care about it at all. So the boy knocks into the pail, and Manzini freaks out and goes and holds onto the top of it.
Yeah.
He puts it on a high shelf, okay? And he starts to talk about how the pail is like Pandora's box.
He's like, it's the only thing in this shop it's the only thing I've ever forbidden you to touch.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't give a crap what else you touch in the shop. He's like, don't mess with the garbage
Then
pail.
why not? If this item's not for sale,
why is it in your shop?
Why is it in the middle of this fucking
Why
store?
is it even there?
Yeah, why is the red bat even there? This place has got a huge basement to it. Why wasn't it already in the basement?
Why didn't it have a chain around it, like chaining the lid down to the can?
This is incredible. I'm certain this old, huge building that he's in, because it's got a very large, structure to it, especially underneath. It's got to have some place that you could hide this thing away. Not in the middle of your damn store where you could bump right into it. But, of course, that would be us. That would be somebody with some brains involved in this film. So there's some girls looking into the window, and he starts looking at the girls, and the girl's name is Tangerine.
There's another name for you.
There's a weird name. I've never met a girl named Tangerine.
And Tangerine is Juicy's girl.
Yeah, that's Juicy's girl. Now, was she back when he got beat up?
She was.
She was there when Dodger got roughed up.
Yeah.
And so she comes in. Why did she do
He
that?
convinces her. He's like, "Hey, you should come in here. We got a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff you could see."
So she leaves her friends to go into the store with this Dodger.
Highly suspect.
Yeah, he shows her something on the.
I hate the name Dodger.
Oh, I know it's terrible
for a kid.
It's really bad. He shows her something on on the ground where she has to bend down or something.
Yeah.
And I got here. He gets a sniff of her musk.
Yeah, kid sniffs Tangerine.
Yeah, sorry, it's my stomach. He gets a big sniff of her musk all around her. And then, of course, all her buddies come in. All her toughs. The goons, Juicy and the boys.
Yep.
Boys and girls of Juicy. With their fingerless gloves.
The Juicy crew.
Yep. And there's some extreme hijinks as he runs around the store as they try to rough him up. And he's like, it's like you said, he's got +5 to the location. And since he's in his own element, he's able to dodge and weave around their attacks because he knows the placement of these things. He didn't know the pail, but he knows the placement of these things. So there's no rhyme or reason why they beat this kid up all the time and stuff.
Right. They just want his lunch money.
And they're literally like,
they're like
20 years old.
I'd say probably 5 or 6 years older than him.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the point? I mean,
I'm sorry. When I was 20, I wasn't going around beating up 14-year-olds.
And you think this Manzini's giving him a lot of money to do anything? He doesn't have any parents.
I don't know where he's getting the money to begin with, anyways.
He stole it. Maybe he stole it from Manzini. I have no clue. So, as they're running around and doing stuff, the pail comes crashing down, of course. And a green ooze starts pouring out.
Which scares the bullies off because they hate ooze.
Yeah, they don't like ooze. Or the secret of it. Which I don't either. They take the kid outside, and they point down to a manhole, and the woman with the big hooters, she's a real brawny girl.
She's the muscle of the group.
Yeah, she's the real muscle of the group. And she opens up a manhole. They all go down inside it. I mean, look at the lengths of which they're doing to humiliate this kid. And no one's even seeing this humiliation. That's the part of humiliation, right? I mean, you're going to humiliate somebody. You're going to do it in front of somebody. You don't say, hey, let's go down into the sewers and let's go rough this kid up.
Right.
So there's a bunch of pipes. And they dump, like, I guess, sewage. Like, they open up a sewage pipe on top of him.
And it literally dumps shit on this kid.
Yeah.
They've dumped shit on this kid.
It's a Garbage Pail Kid movie.
Who's this movie made for? That's going to be the first time I'm going to ask you that.
No clue. Not sure.
I'm going to tell you right now, this movie is not made for kids.
I don't know who it's for.
And I don't know what the target audience of this film would have been, given that kids were the ones buying the cards.
People that have had mass trauma to their head or brain.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
So they leave him there. They leave him down into the sludge.
We literally see shit on his face.
Yeah. And
But he's like unconscious and just like it's just pouring out on him.
As this shit's pouring all on top of him.
So now we start seeing some real grubby hands.
Yeah, they're
turning
real,
off the pipe.
They're real bloated rubber hands. The little tiny bloated rubber hands, and these things are talking constantly. That's all they do is talk over each other and talk constantly. So they grab him and they turn off the pipe. They clean him up upstairs in Manzini's basement. Okay, and now you get to see these are the Garbage Pail Kids. Beyond horrible is what I've got written. Terrible hands too. So you've got. Let's see if we can get them all. You've got. Of course, they instantly start to get into everything down there, like all down in the basement.
As is their wont.
Yeah, he doesn't even really remark about how they look at all, does he? I mean, he doesn't really like.
No.
freak out.
I wrote wakes up to Garbage Pail Kids. How he isn't horrified, I have no idea.
Yeah, he'd be screaming bloody murder and just screaming out, just running out of that place like a crazy person.
Right.
So one is a greaser, like Greaser Greg or something like that.
Right.
One's an alligator. He literally looks like a kid that's an alligator. There's Ned the Nerd.
That was Alligator, by the way.
Oh yeah, his name's Alligator. There's Ned the Nerd, who he has a Superman costume on. His whole body is covered in zits. His whole face is covered in zits. He's got glasses and frizzy hair. And he reminded me of somebody sitting at this table. But I'm just going to continue on with what we got going. And so there's also like a guy in a Hawaiian shirt who farts all the time.
That's Wendy. I don't remember the next part of his name.
There is a girl.
Probably Wendy Willis.
Something with a V, maybe? Vicky or something?
It's Vicky Vomit.
Yeah, she pukes, and is she the one that has the snot pouring out of her nose?
No. That was like Messy Meg or some shit.
Some crap. She's got a bunch of schnots that comes out of her nose.
Yeah.
And then there's just two of them that are just Garbage Pail Kids. They don't really do anything different. They just, there's not much to them. But they're obviously little people that are in terrible robotic and prosthetic suits. Huge, massive heads. There's also a baby that looks like John McCain a little bit. Like it has no hair.
That's Foul Phil.
Okay. And he also reminds me of the bloated gut freaks from Nothing But Trouble.
Except the baby version of him.
Yeah, and better looking too. So yeah,
which is terrible in its own right.
But I've got here the kid is obviously in shock, and he doesn't understand the things he sees because his mind obviously
he just accepts them.
He just accepts it because if he understands what they are, that's when he'd be in a rubber room somewhere eating like mush, Because there's no way that he can just endure these without taking some sort of shock. But I've got written here, super freaks is what these things are. Not the good ones either. The ones that, what's-his-face talked about. So Manzini shows up and he wants to put them back in the pail.
Rick Springfield.
He wants to put them back in the pail. So he obviously knows about them. Because he talked about Pandora's box. And I've got written here, genitals, ? Have you thought about what their genitals look like, Jonathan?
Jesus
what
God,
like knotted flesh like balls their genitals look like?
That's terrible.
Oh yeah, really terrible. I got written here, I want to take a sledgehammer to their heads.
I've got my review of them coming up in a couple sentences.
Well, when they turn their head sideways, their head is massive, like a beach ball.
Well, I mean, to be fair, now, listen, I'm going to try to say this as delicately as I can. These are all little people actors.
Yeah, we said that.
And, so yeah, I mean, you've got these massive animatronic heads that you're having to put on these poor little people who I cannot begin to understand what kind of torture they probably went through to have to carry these suits.
I wonder if they're heavy, too.
Because that's what I'm saying. Those suits look like they were super heavy.
The heads look like they were heavy. The heads were massive.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous how they looked.
So the boy's taking a bath, and they all watch.
Well, yeah. I put Captain shows up, says Dodger needs a bath.
Well, yeah.
Always bathing him. He's always bathing him. This is the second time. I mean, we're 15 minutes in the movie? This is the second time he's cleaned up Dodger. Like, again,
it's bath time for you.
Captain is a pedophile.
I guess so.
This is incident number 2 on our pedophile list. Continue.
Well, I've got here they're all looking at his cock and balls. That's what I've got written here because they're all literally like peering over the tub, like looking down at him. I was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then when he gets a towel, they're kind of like trying to sneak a peek. It looked like it was weird.
Well, one of the girls said he has nice legs.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I just didn't get it.
I wrote these things are nasty, bloated cretins that anyone would intentionally run over if they saw them crossing the street. I would go out of my way to hit these things with my car if I saw them walking down the
You get
sidewalk.
multiple points for hitting these things. So they say that the normies think that they are ugly. No shit is what I wrote.
Yeah.
Of course you are. You're horrible.
Yeah. And then Captain proceeds to basically say that beauty is on the inside.
That's true.
And then I wrote, this movie is full of lessons.
It is full of
This movie is full of moral lessons. Whether they're right or wrong, and how they contradict themselves is incredible. I mean, the movie makers, Of
course.
But we'll get to that later.
One of the girls asks him if Dodger wants to suck face.
And he says no, like he's repulsed. And then he goes, I'm already interested in somebody.
Yeah, I've already got a girl I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It's Tangerine, you see.
Yeah, he likes Tangerine.
She's the best thing in the movie. And not for her character. But I said the kid's name is Dodger, exclamation mark. That's what I've got. But yeah, 14-year-old kid, this thing that looks like a little kid that's big and bloated and weird. Do you want to suck face? Okay.
Everybody's got to start somewhere, Brandon.
I guess so.
Things look like my ex-wife.
So, Jesus.
I was trying to get a bigger reaction out of you.
Wow.
If she's listening, I'm just kidding.
She's not. 17 downloads for Conga.
She's not.
So Dodger is now looking at Tangerine. She lives like 2 blocks away. Not 2 blocks away, 2 houses down. Jonathan's locked up with some laughter.
Go ahead.
He looks at Tangerine through yonder window like a perv.
Yep, because he's learning from Captain, so...
Yep.
I mean...
And he talks to her as she leaves.
Yep.
She's got a convertible. Mm-hmm. And she asks him if he wants to help her sell some of her clothes. He agrees, and being the rude little boy that he is, he doesn't go around and open up her door. He proceeds to walk on top of her.
Yeah. He basically climbs over the car because some jackass director was like, "It'll look way cool if you slide across the back."
Yeah.
And instead, he just climbs up on it, walks across the back of the car, and sits in the seat.
I'd be like, dude, don't walk on my car.
Yeah, I would be like, asshole, quit sliding across the hood of my car.
I mean, when is that ever acceptable?
Never. Only in the 80s. Or if you're one of the Duke boys.
That's true. At a club, it's like a nightclub type thing in the back. The doors opened up. There's like a bouncer out there. The doors opened up, and just a herd of young girls come rushing out to look at her clothes.
Some girl yelled, "Tangerine's here." So I guess this is a weekly event.
Yeah.
She's selling her clothes.
And they rush out to snatch up to start buying her clothes. They barely see them before they're shoving a fistful of dollars in her face. I was like, Jesus.
$10.
Yeah, $10.
It's like, she's going through all this hard work selling these garments, and $12, $10. Mm-hmm. Like, she told Dodger, if somebody offers you, if they offer you less, pay attention. But if they offer you $5 less, then just tell them no. Like, $5 less when you're selling somebody $10 a pop.
Yeah.
No shit. You don't want to take. No shit. You don't want to take that much off.
Ain't nobody gonna do no 50% off on these clothes. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
These are handmade clothes you got here.
She's quite the fashion designer, Tangerine.
We'll go ahead and say that she is attractive to the eyes. I think we both agree on that. And especially in 1987, if you were a young man, yes, she's highly valued as very pretty, as they would say. Mm-hmm. And a girl...
You think any young boys were watching this movie in their room?
Oh, yeah.
Doors locked?
Tangerine's, she's definitely up there. So a girl wants to buy Tangerine's shirt straight off of her, and so she just whips it off right there. She
gladly sells it.
Dodger sees what he sees. She's in a bra. But you see him quickly slink off to go beat off, I think is what he did. He was like,
he slinks back into the dark. Another lesson he learned from Captain.
Yeah. He was like, let me just go over here to my little place where nobody's watching. And
that's classic Manzini right there.
Yeah, and then his hand was just furious on his genitals as he was looking at her. But you can see he's obviously very pleased by what he sees.
She has to ask him to give her a shirt.
Yeah. He's like, give me a shirt. Of course, the toughs, her tough boyfriend and their goons, they show up.
The Juicy Crew.
The Juicy Crew. They're gonna move you.
They'll get right to you.
Jesus Christ. Okay. So that they show up and Dodger hides. He hides in a bag. Like he zips himself up into a nylon bag.
He grabs her duffel bag that she brought all her clothes in.
Yeah, and he hides inside.
He crawls inside of it and zips himself up into it and hides.
He's not very big, you see. He's not a very big boy, you know.
He's 14.
He's 14. He's not large.
I was large at 14.
Juicy, her boyfriend, in quotations, takes off with her as Dodger hides in the bag. He also snatches up her money. Of course, it's in a cigar box.
Yeah.
And so he comes out of the bag. He unzips it and pops himself out of the bag.
And then he's just resigned to walking all the way home.
He's like, well,
I don't know how far they had to travel, but now he's walking all the way
I
home.
like how she was just like, well, he'll figure it out. She did see that he was hiding, in the shadows, doing what guys that can't control themselves do. And so
I wrote at this point, this movie makes me want to dump. That's what I wrote about this film at this point.
The kids, I've got the kids. Anytime I mention the kids, these are the Garbage Pail Kids.
I refer to them coming up as the first instance in my notes. I call them the GPKs.
I said GPK in the very beginning, but I just went with kids.
But yeah, the GPKs is what I call them.
Mainly because my autocorrect wanted to try to play some game with me, and I wasn't about to play with that.
Yeah, you weren't having it.
Yeah, I'm not dealing with that, no. And so the kids are running around looking into garbage cans. They're flipping over the cans, and hey, they're looking for their friends inside. I didn't really understand what that was all about, but all good. And I've got the music. Because the music here again was a moment where I was just like, good Lord, this 80s music does not stop. Now, the kids proceed to steal a Pepsi truck.
Yeah.
Ripping off the driver's pants as his keys are on one of those long metal strings and attached to the back door, the roll-up door of the back of the Pepsi truck.
Yeah.
So when they pull off, they rip the guy's pants off and you see his heart shapes on his boxers. Mm-hmm. That's funny. They crash into a guy's car. Now, I don't believe this was Juicy.
I don't think it was Juicy. It looked just like him.
Yeah, it was,
but all guys in the 80s looked just like him, I guess.
It's true. With the wing back hair, like the big huge hair.
Yeah.
They crash into the guy's car. He's able to jump out right before
he tucks and rolls.
Yeah, he tucks and rolls. And as the camera switches back to his car as they're pulling away, his car is flat like cardboard on the ground. They flattened it like a cartoon. Okay, that's incredible. And the Pepsi truck received no damage.
No damage.
No hit points popped off that Pepsi truck. And it shows them all of a sudden they're around a barrel fire.
Yep.
Roasting hot dogs. Now, anytime they're around each other, they're constantly talking over one another, and it's just like a cacophony of gibberish noises.
Well, I'll tell you what I did hear in this scene.
Uh-huh.
When they pull up in the Pepsi truck, they get out of the truck, to which they say, "We're the new generation."
Yeah, that's right.
Oh man, fuck this movie.
Yeah, because they're the Pepsi truck, the Pepsi generation.
Oh god, I hate this movie.
Back at the store, they have an orgy before bed. I just wrote that and I went with it. It seemed right at the time, but I can't remember exactly.
I'm not going to question it because it's probably right.
Yeah, there's a quick orgy, and since Tangerine is into fashion, they decide, hey, we'll sew some clothes for her.
Well. For him first,
right.
To impress Tangerine.
Right. We've got to impress her with clothes, so we'll make some clothes. They know that he likes her, and they have innate clothing-making skills. They're up with not only the newest fashions, but beyond, like the truly newest, like trend-setting, very trend-setting fashions. What the fuck? These things that come out of Garbage Pail, that got snot and vomit and farting all over the place. One looks like an alligator, the other one like a little baby Huey. And now they're making clothes for him to impress her with their innate skills.
By the way, I just realized instance number 3 of him being a pedophile, Manzini.
Yes, sir.
I didn't write this down, but I just realized it. He was keeping like 9 kids trapped.
In a pail.
In a pail.
In a garbage pail.
In a garbage pail. He was keeping 9 kids all to himself trapped.
Does he ever explain how he knows about them or how he received this
Nope.
thing? Okay.
He sure doesn't.
All right, whatever.
It's never addressed in the film.
So they sewed him like a Michael Jackson looking type of jacket, like his military-esque jacket that he's worn with like the gold tassels and stuff.
Yeah.
Dodger, that's the boy's name.
Yeah.
He wears it. And he goes to see Tangerine.
Of course he does.
Just as Juicy leaves.
Yeah. So Juicy, he sees, once again, Dodger's peeping through the window like a peeping Tom.
Yeah,
as he's been taught.
Oh, yes. He's taught by the Master Manzini.
Juicer is leaving. So Dodger quickly climbs up a fire escape that's right beside the steps of the building.
Yeah.
Juicy has 0 peripheral vision.
He's lighting up a cigarette.
He does not see Dodger. Dodger climbs down. Then he just proceeds to commit a home invasion and walk right into Tangerine's house and into her bedroom.
Yeah, no knocking, no ringing the doorbell.
Nothing.
No announcing his presence.
Their one trip together for him to go sell clothes was his invitation into her home, I guess.
Yes, into her most private studies.
He's some sort of a fancy vampire, I guess.
Mancini's taught him well.
I guess so.
Be very brazen and bold about your home entry.
He slipped right in.
Yes.
I won't say which one I'm talking about.
Jeez. So she sees his jacket and she goes ape.
She does go ape.
That's the name of the podcast that we're doing right now.
Damn it! If we just said go ape one more time, we could have just ended this torture for everyone.
Damn. Well, she shows off her body to him with sex appeal.
Yeah. I put Tangerine traps Dodger to sex him up.
It's understandable. You know. She definitely has the tools to work with that.
Yeah.
To hit that angle. Mm-hmm. And of course, he's 14 years old. I mean, come on, 14 years old.
Right.
Holy shit, that stuff's really starting to churn down there. So she wants him to make clothes for her.
Yeah. So she uses her body to dupe Dodger into making clothes.
Yeah, and he's like, sweat, all sweaty browed. Oh, yeah.
Because, of course, he says he made the outfit.
Yeah, he's a liar.
And she's like, well, can you make me 12 more? And we'll sell them.
Yeah, well, 12 outfits or so. And so he's like, oh, yeah. He goes back and tells them to get to work.
I put Dodger quickly enslaves the GPKs.
He does. All right, like clapping. All right, to work, you.
I mean, what an asshole.
I know, he really is.
He quickly put them straight to work.
Dude, he's crazy by what he saw. He wants that body.
Okay.
14 years old. And what do you think she is, like 17, 18?
Yeah. She's younger than Juicy, but older than him.
My goodness. And the outfit she's wearing is driving this kid up the wall.
And us.
Yeah. And so I've got here the nerd. His name is, what was his name? Ned the Nerd?
Nat the Nerd? Ned the Nerd.
Ned. Ned the Nerd is Jon Randall.
No.
And he needs to be,
not.
I said he needs to be bludgeoned to death.
You want to kill me?
Yeah. Every time he says something, it's just cringeworthy. And you have to look at his zits.
He's constantly urinating on himself. Too,
yeah. He pees on himself.
Which is kind of more of a Brandon trait, but I don't understand.
That is true. No, I'm more of a poo on myself. Okay, so yeah,
this people is the third moment of the film.
It's coming up. So all of a sudden they're about to get ready to go to work, and they start singing. They all start singing a song
About working together.
They start singing. It's incredible. This is a song scene. This is a musical. This is the third moment.
This is the fight or flight moment of the film, and we both wanted to fly.
Now, do we like singing in movies overall? Would you say, do you enjoy some movie?
I love Newsies.
You do love Newsies. I don't mind singing as long as I know there's going to be singing in it.
Like any Disney cartoon we saw when we were kids.
If you're going to see a Disney movie and all of a sudden, they're singing? Come on, Martha, let's get out of here. You know, that's not going to happen. You know there's going to be a song.
Not in this, I didn't.
Not in this, especially from these mutants.
Okay,
and
in the middle of this song.
Well, the song is, we can do anything by working with each other. That's the main chorus. We can do anything by working with each other.
You sound just like him.
I know, oh God. What were we about to say?
They have to go to a facility that has more than one sewing machine.
Yeah, they need to get mats. Materials. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where do they go?
They go to a non-union sweatshop.
It says that on the fucking store side, like on the side of the building.
On the side of the building, non-union sweatshop. So let me get this straight. Dodger has now enslaved kids. Mm-hmm. It's in their title. And taken them to a sweatshop.
Yep.
To make clothes.
Yep.
Again, who is this film marketed to?
I don't know. And it's amazing that it's got sweatshop written beside it.
It literally said sweatshop.
And they do it. Right?
Yeah.
They break in, they take the stuff out. Dodger comes to work at Manzini's, I guess from his house. That's the part of the plot and the character we don't know.
Yeah.
He's got breakfast. And
he pays them in junk food.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote. He pays them in junk food because he tossed them like bags of chips to eat.
Yeah. For breakfast. And
what?
Yeah.
This is full blown like communist sweatshop that
I don't know what's going on.
That he started working.
Surprised he didn't try to whip him or something. I said, look, they've obviously been burning the midnight oil for him, you know, because they've been working all night. Obviously, it was nighttime. Now all of a sudden it's morning. Doesn't make any sense.
Pedophile alert.
Yep. Manzini shows up.
He's
randy as hell.
He says, God damn it, I put it in quotes. He says to Dodger, "How are things downstairs?" What's he talking about, people? Is he talking about the Garbage Pail Kids?
I don't know.
Is he talking about something with Dodger? I don't know.
He's a big fan of Dodger.
He's inquiring about things. Manzini is a pedophile. That's instance number 4.
Mm-hmm. But he does want Dodger to hold down the fort because he's going to go something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I've got constant gibberish over talking from these monsters. You can't hear a lot of what they're saying because they're just talking over one another. And they use snot. The girl with snot powers. She's got a nose that infinitely just creates tons of snot. She tries to use it to start a TV, a small TV, obviously black and white, that they were trying to get going. That's the little bit of joy they have in this sweatshop, is trying to get this broken-ass TV working. Black and white, mind you. And roughly 7 inches across, this TV. And they were very pleased to find it, but not happy that it didn't work, but she was going to have the solution of snot. The snot didn't work. So look at what depravity these people have, these cretins. That they're trying to use their own nose liquids.
Goblins.
Yeah, their own nose goblins to try to fix a broken-ass TV.
So they're stupid and slaves.
I don't get it. But to entertain themselves,
They've got a plan.
Yeah, they're going to dress up.
Yep. What do they put on?
They put on jackets, like trench coats.
Yep.
Sunglasses.
Yep.
Berets.
And where do they go? They head straight to a stroke theater. That's exactly what they went to. It looks like a fucking theater that I would have run into Pee Wee Herman or like that dad from Seventh Heaven.
Yep.
I'd have run into them inside of this theater.
Well, before the nerd pisses himself, of course, that's a given.
Yeah.
They take off on 4x4s. They've got all-terrain vehicles, like little, they got ATVs they hop on, and a wagon attached to one of the ATVs. Where the fuck were these things from? Where'd they get these things?
I don't know. They're antiques.
I guess so. Yeah, and they break into the back of a stroke theater.
That's what it looks like when they go into it. It's
and
terrible.
They're very belligerent and obnoxious to all the moviegoers.
Yeah. Who are all, by the way, somehow this theater is almost sold out of people going to see Three Stooges.
What the fuck? It just does not stop, man.
They had to use Three Stooges, I guess, because it's probably public domain.
Yeah, probably so.
They didn't have to pay for it.
I've got written here, look at what we're watching, Jonathan. What are we watching? Now, is this more absurd than Leonard Part 6?
Dude, quit bringing that movie up.
I'm going to tell you this now. Leonard Part 6 and this movie, we have truly hit the bottom of the barrel.
Or the pail.
Fuck! You got me with that one. I'm going to give you that. So, they now go to the toughest bar in the world.
2 of them do. Wendy and Alligator.
Alligator.
They go off on their own. They're like, fuck that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go to a building that literally says on the side,
Toughest bar in the world.
toughest bar in the world.
And Alligator looks just like his name. He is a fucking walking alligator with like blonde Jeff Spicoli hair.
Yeah, with an afro.
It's incredible. So, this is where I finally admitted it to you. I said, I'm not sure if we can go any lower than this. The alligator is going by the guys in the bar. He's looking at people's feet.
Yeah, because he likes to eat toes, you see.
He's got a foot fetish.
Yeah.
And he finds a guy in like sandals.
Yep.
In this biker bar.
Yeah.
And bites this guy's foot. And he starts to get his ass kicked by all the patrons.
Yep.
Of
Fight breaks out.
This there's a big biker group in there. Biker gang, I guess, of some sort. But lo and behold, an ATV comes busting through the window.
Yep, it's Wendy.
Yep, the guy in the Hawaiian shirt.
His name's Wendy.
Yeah, he starts kung fu fighting.
Yeah. Kicking ass.
Yeah.
After he knocks out about 4 patrons, one of the bikers goes, whoa, everybody stop. He goes, what this guy's doing right here? That takes guts.
Yeah, it's the bartender. It's the owner of the place.
Yeah, he goes, he's with me. And they high five.
Yeah.
And now I put, they've earned respect in the bar. They're now one of them.
Yep.
Wendy and Allie are now one of them.
I've got the owner is won over by his spunk. All right? And it's drinks for everybody. The bartender's like, drinks for everybody. I'm like, you might not want to spend a lot of money on those drinks. You just got a window you need to replace.
The whole wall instead of ATV bus.
Yeah, you might want to replace that. I don't know if you got the money, the funds for that. And so I've got right in here. Where's the plot in this flick? Where have me and you told our listeners, our thousands of listeners right here, what the plot of this movie is?
Well,
what is the goal?
To our millions of listeners, there has been no plot.
Yeah.
I would have to say, at this point, all we know, okay, and this is going to be important later, is that the Garbage Pail Kids, their motivation is to find their friends.
Who are their friends?
I guess more of them, more Garbage Pail Kids.
I guess so.
Because they were looking for them in those trash cans.
But didn't they come from space?
I don't know. But that is important, and I'll bring up why that's important when we get to it. But that is something to keep in mind, okay? That's the motivation for the Garbage Pail Kids.
Yep.
Dodger's motivation is to use the Garbage Pail Kids as slaves to make clothes so he can get Tangerine's panties.
Yeah.
Her motivation is to use Dodger, and in turn the slaves, to make clothes so she can get her own clothing line and get out of this dead hole of a town.
And what's Manzini's goal?
Is to get into Dodger's pants. or the GPKs. I don't know. All that matters to him is keeping maximum children locked up in his basement and or antique shop.
And bathing him. Bathing them whenever at his whim.
Manzini is a pedophile.
Yeah.
It's
so
for real.
for our billions of listeners, there's a couple of different plots that you can try to piece out of this.
But none of these are supposed to be the plot of the film.
Yeah, none of them are main plots.
At this point, I wrote second song, You Can Be a Garbage Pail Kid.
Yeah.
That's the second time. Now, they're not actually actively singing on screen.
Right, but that's the song that's...
But that's the song that's playing.
And this is the Razzie nominee song.
Yeah.
The nose girl, she has a huge thing of popcorn. Almost about the size of her. She starts sneezing, and the popcorn starts just raining down on all the people in the theater watching Three Stooges.
Yeah, it looks like the end of that fucking movie that we love.
Real Genius.
Real Genius. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, now they're a part of the biker gang, and the biker gang takes the two of them, back to the antique store.
Right. Gives them a lift.
Yeah. But Juicy and his group see them going into the store. They're looking up from up on high. Juicy and his boys are. And Juicy and his guys have got their short shorts on. They got their tank tops. And Manzini gives Alligator a stern talking to about something I have no idea.
I think it's that he's the oldest and he should be more responsible.
Right. He's also a freak.
He should be a better leader.
Okay.
Of the kids.
Juicy has to take a dump, so the kids do some pipe work. That's what they do, pretty much.
Yes, that's true.
And so, what am I getting at this? That's what it is. Yeah, Juicy literally has to go take a shit.
Yes. Yeah, he's sitting on a toilet.
Yeah, and so instantly,
the water back. They go down into the sewer.
Yeah, the sewer, and they redo it so that
the water fires backwards, and it blasts him up into the ceiling, much like the scene in Goonies.
Yeah, and it just comes out of nowhere. The scene's like completely out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so they've got great plumbing skills and clothing making skills.
Yep.
It's whatever it is. And you can be a GBK kid. GBK. There is, and they also the two toughs, the man, the girl, and the guy. They're sexing it up a little bit in the jacuzzi, getting close, and they back up the sewage, I guess, into the jacuzzi. You can't really tell that good, but that's what you believe happens. It's weird. They're trying to get back at them for some reason. And Manzini's trying to come up with some spell to put them back into the pail. All right? The kids tell Dodger that they're looking for their friends. Once again, they're like, hey, we're trying to look for our friends. And Manzini talks about finding, he found the home of the Uglies. Now, this is it says state home for the Uglies. Is that what it said?
State home for the ugly.
For the ugly.
Yeah. I wrote, their friends are locked up in the home for the ugly. Rightfully so.
Yeah. And there's a scene where there's some kids playing, and there's a girl that's obviously playing like hide and seek, and two old guards all of a sudden sneak up behind this girl, and they net her over the head because she's got this terrible looking mask on that makes her look ugly. But they let her go when they see it's just a mask. So this is a group of security guard guys that are actively out there just grabbing people with a net that are ugly.
They're like dog catchers, except they're ugly catchers.
What the fuck? What?
I told you, dude, this is a state agency I can get behind. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you'd be hauled off.
Whatever.
The music is driving me nuts.
I'm fucking gorgeous.
But Manzini and Dodger follow them to the state home of the ugly, so they know where it is.
Yeah.
Okay, because they see them trying to get this girl, and so they're in on it. All right. And so she was going to meet back with Dodger because they were going to go. Is this the fashion show, or this was something else?
This is their second time that they were going to go. That she was getting clothes to sell stuff.
So she shows up. She waits like 12 seconds.
Yeah, and then she's going to leave.
I'm out.
Because he's not there, because he's with Manzini giving blowjobs. I mean, finding the state home for the ugly. And, and then all of a sudden he shows up. He's like, oh, I'm here. Wait for me.
And like, dumbass, he's got the clothes.
Well, she's got her own clothes.
Yeah, but still, she needs more money. She needs more merch. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So Dodger sees her, and he goes in and gets the clothes. And all of a sudden there's this scene of music and them selling clothes behind nightclubs.
I wrote their hard slave labor sold for $10 a garment.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a little bit of a montage, and there's some singing involved with a singer and an actual song. She gives him a kiss on the cheek. I'm certain that ramped him up.
Oh, yeah.
And
Manzini finished it off.
And then, I guess, the next day, he runs out to talk to her, and the kids, the freaks, run out with him. She freaks out at their horribleness. Understandable.
Yeah.
It's the only true reaction you should have.
Yeah, it's a normal reaction.
Yeah. And they tell her that they made the clothes. And she's like, well, I want to see. Show me. And they take her down to the basement to show her. Music, again, is playing. And I've got here the kids are playing cards. I don't know exactly why they were playing cards, but they like to play cards. And they start discussing how to get into the home for the uglies. At
some point in here, I wrote Tangerine is using Dodger for his slaves. What a bitch.
Oh, yeah. You realize that Tangerine is not a very nice person.
Yeah. She's constantly using her body to manipulate Dodger.
Right.
Any way she can.
Yep. And his young, impressionable hormones.
Crossing her heart. And then quick camera zoom as her fingernail drags over her nipple.
Yeah.
And she's and then putting her finger up to his mouth.
Which works for me, but who is this supposed to work
Again,
for?
Who is this movie targeted to?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
So Manzini, of course, most of this movie's at night. Manzini and Dodger leave his car in the middle of the road running as they walk over to the home of the ugly, and they try to talk to the guard. The guard shoos them away. He's like, get out of here, y'all. I don't know why they did that, but all good. And then in the windows of this state home for the ugly, you can see all the people are framed up. You can see them on their cells. There's light behind them. So you can see their shadow.
At the window.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so he shoos them away. Tangerine and Dodger go to get the clothes together, and the kids want to go to the fashion show too, because she's got a fashion show that she's got going. And Tangerine says they can't go. She yells at Dodger.
Yeah,
she doesn't want them there. So while they're outside, upstairs, she locks them inside the shop. She pulls out a master lock out of nowhere, and she hides the key in her brassiere bosom area. Mm-hmm. Again, sexual. And
I put treating your newly acquired workforce like shit. Might want to reconsider that.
Yeah. And they lock. Of course, they can't get out.
Right.
And I said here, Tangerine has him wrapped around her finger, pretty much, using her feminine wiles. Mm-hmm. Juicy and his group knock on the store's door. Manzini tells them that they're closed. And a quick spray of KO gas lays him out.
I think they got this leftover from the set of the '66 Batman show.
No clue what this is.
Yeah, it looks like the like a gas canister for like a propane torch.
Yeah,
and they just and then all of a sudden he's just out cold on the ground.
Yep. They open up the door to the basement and they observe the freaks. Mm-hmm. Greg the Greaser gets yoinked as he goes up to see who it is up there.
Right.
But come to find out, they kidnapped all of them.
Yep, they've all been dropped off at the home for the ugly.
Getting ready for the fashion show.
They got paid a bounty for that, by the way.
Yeah, they got a bounty.
So this State Department is paying bounties to people who bring in uglies.
And we'll discuss who some of those uglies are later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So they're getting ready for the fashion show. Tangerine is in a very skimpy outfit. She's running around doing all the pre-show activities and making sure that outfits are where they need to be, and makeup and hair and blah, 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 blah. Juicy and the group, they dump the kids off at the home for the uglies. They get their payment. And they're put into a cell that has a sign on the front of it that says, too gross.
Right. Which is fitting for them.
Yeah. And you look around, you can see there's other cells with other people in it.
Yeah.
And some of them are...
Too fat, which is Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. Too skinny, I believe was Abraham Lincoln.
But it wasn't.
Right. It was some guy dressed like him.
No, it was a little person.
I guess.
It didn't make any sense.
There was a too weird, and the guy looked like Kip from fucking Napoleon Dynamite.
Mm-hmm. Too old, just an old man.
Too bald was a guy that looked like
Gandhi.
There was a too short.
Yeah. Maybe that was the one.
I think that was the little person. But you noticed something.
Yep.
Out of the corner of your eye.
Yep, it's the top right cell.
The one that you could barely see.
It says too dark.
Too dark.
I wonder who's in that cell. We'll find out later.
Because, in this shot, we couldn't see who was in that cell.
Too dark.
Too dark.
There was also a clown. Too silly.
Too silly was the clown.
Okay.
This fucking movie.
Yeah.
So apparently it cuts to the guards, and they're like, one of the guards, a younger guy, I guess he's new to the force, is asking Creed from The Office, because that's what the guy looks like.
Yeah.
What happens? What's going to happen to these people? He's like, don't worry about it. They won't be around long. And he makes some motion like they're going to be mashed.
They're going to be crushed in like a garbage truck.
So apparently, they murder people at the Home for the Ugly.
I guess they do.
They just kill them.
Yeah, they'll die.
All right.
Manzini wakes up and he sees...
So this is Obamacare. This is the death panel.
Yeah, this is death panels.
This is death panels.
Manzini wakes up and he sees that they're all gone. Juicy and Tangerine tell Dodger they've been taken to the home. They all of a sudden have this real stern talk to Dodger.
Yeah.
And you find out that Tangerine has, in essence, backstabbed young Dodger here.
Yeah.
He's crushed.
Yeah, I put the double cross is now apparent. Tangerine has no remorse.
Yep. He's taken away by the two goons and tossed into a dumpster.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it shows the guards tossing Manzini out of the home. Now this home's got a gate and like a barbed wire fence. I'm not sure how he got in it, but he'll get in it again. So they toss him outside. But Dodger shows up and they meet outside together.
This is instance number 5 of pedophile.
Let's hear it.
So Manzini says he thinks they have the Garbage Pail Kids inside. Now we know as viewers that Dodger already knows that this is true.
Yep, because
Juicy told him. But then he says to Dodger, he instantly says, "I think we're too late." That's what Manzini says to Dodger.
Okay.
Like, I think the kids are inside, but I think we're too late. He obviously just wants to get Dodger back to the antique shop.
Let's not worry about this anymore.
Yeah, let's not worry about these kids. We'll make new kids, just me and you, or we'll die trying.
Oh, a lot of knuckle babies.
So this is instance number 5 of this. He instantly wanted to give up on those kids. He didn't care because he had Dodger, sweet young Dodger.
Yeah, don't worry about any of this stuff.
So there you go.
So Dodger, the fashion show starts, and there's a bunch of people there to see it. It's a full house, and she's like, "This is a good start." I'm like, "Well, no shit. It's a full house. You're not going to get much better than that."
By the way, this fashion show looks like it's taking place in a high school gymnasium that's been done up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for the set.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about what it's supposed to be, but that's what the set looks like.
Exactly. Dodger says, "Ooh, I've got it. We've got buddies that we can go get."
Yeah, we need to get help.
They go get the biker boys.
Straight to the toughest bar in the world.
I got the biker guys. They're unleashed, is what these guys are. Because all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, they got our guys!" And those guys are instantly throwing down their drinks and just hauling ass outside of the bar. Oh, and all of a sudden...
Dodger quickly becomes the chick on the back of one of the bikes.
He does. Holding on to some guy around the crotch. The chest area. Manzini somehow makes it inside the home. He's just inside the place.
Yeah, I put Manzini breaks in. Somehow?
He's teleporting. He can teleport. He's got magic. Remember, he does have magic.
Okay.
Because he uses magic to beat up the guards. Like, he beat up this guard through, a flash of fire or something. And he does something, knocks the guy down. And they start to release all the other uglies. All right? Outside, the bikers have used chains to pull off the bars to the window.
Now, I want to say in this moment, you and I are, we are super watching this scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are passing around the keys on the inside, and
all
the uglies are letting each other out. And we have got to see who is in the cell labeled Too Dark.
Too Dark has become very intriguing at this point.
So we really want to know who's in this cell.
Yep.
So we're watching for it. And we see, you start seeing everybody kind of helping each other out of these cells. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, outside, like you said, the bikers are outside. They've got chains tied to their bikes.
Yep.
And they've got them tied to, the bars over the window.
Yep.
And they are set waiting for a 14-year-old's command to give them the go-ahead so they can rip the bars off the window so everybody can escape out the window of the Home for the Ugly.
Well, he's mustered this group.
It's true.
He used the muster.
Okay.
And so, he makes it inside. And I've got here, Dodger looks like a short-haired woman. That's what he looks like to me.
It's okay. He's going to look like a 26-year-old man in a little while.
True. Back at the fashion show, of course, they're all let out. All the people are let out, right?
Yeah, but So they're pulling them out the windows. Now, at this point, we never saw Too Dark open up. We never saw who came out of it.
No.
Okay?
But when they show the people running outside...
When they show the people coming out the window,
yeah, and
then the people all celebrating afterwards, we see one person that we have never seen yet at this point. We've seen every other one of those...
Yeah.
Those cages, cells. we saw who was in it, except for this one person who's now suddenly with them celebrating. Brandon, who was that person?
He was a black man. Too dark.
What the fuck is wrong with this movie?
I don't know, dude. It hits so many wrong levels.
Like, so we're talking about a movie that earlier on tries to teach you that beauty is only skin deep.
Well, these are the bad guys, so they can do that stuff. They can be racist like this.
But the producers thought it was okay.
We'll put a black guy in a cell and say he's too dark.
And he has to be locked up because he's too dark? Like, what the fuck?
And I don't know, dude. This movie is just an anomaly.
It's abhorrent.
Yeah, it really is.
This movie's abhorrent.
Okay, so there it is. That's what it's out. It's out and it's in the open. They said a black guy was too dark. Okay, so now
the Garbage Pail Kids show up at the fashion show.
Yep, they're back at the fashion show. They sneak into the back. Greaser Greg swings down from a rope and KOs one of Juice's dudes.
It's mesh shirt.
Yep. The kids run out onto the stage and they proceed to start ripping the clothes off the women, thus showing them in bikinis and their
brawn panties. Yeah. So we now have the Garbage Pail Kids just ripping clothes off of innocent women. Models, basically.
I got written here, hello, because...
I mean, obviously, this is a tactic that they learned from their time with Mancini.
Yeah.
Instance number 6.
And this is a good scene.
The guy's a weirdo.
Yeah. And Juicy, he's so angry, he just rips off a piece of wood off a banister, like a monster.
Brute strength.
Yeah, brute strength.
Big fight breaks out here.
A huge fart is ripped in front of the crowd.
Which sends them scattering.
Yeah. Well, it stuns them at first for like D4 rounds.
Yeah.
And then it starts them scattering because it's a massive fart. And the guy's arms are just churning. He's got them up around his shoulders. And he's just churning out this fart. The girl that pukes, she pukes all over Juice's 2 goons.
Yeah. Mesh shirt and muscle.
There's a fight between Juice and Dodger. Now, we're watching this. It all sounds like, Jonathan, back this up. We got to take a look at this again. We got a 14-year-old boy fighting what's got to be like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old.
Or 20-year-old guy.
Yeah, 20-year-old guy. Okay, pretty beefy too. That guy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was like, hold on a second.
I don't know where Dodger tackles him, but that's about the end of him.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, he starts getting his ass kicked in this fight.
And I notice that Dodger has now all of a sudden become like a almost 6 foot tall man, and he has incredibly hairy arms. Like his forearms have got like
almost a sweater,
just a sweater of hair. It was such a hilarious stunt double. And when we rewind it, we could see him just clear as day. But it's just so funny because what's weird is Dodger's his sleeves were down like around his wrist.
I think, yeah.
But all of a sudden, when it went to the other guy, of course, he needed to roll up his sleeves to fight. Also, I saw these huge, just bands of hair going across his forearm. I was like, "Holy shit!" And I love seeing stunt doubles. We love seeing stunt doubles.
Oh, it's glorious!
It's fantastic.
It's one of my favorite things about watching Star Trek: The Original Series.
Oh yeah, it's
incredible. Every time a fight breaks out, it's my favorite part.
So yeah, huge gorilla hairy arms on Dodger's stunt double. And I've got Mancini tries to stop Dodger's bloodlust because he comes running in, and Dodger's like ready to rip off. I mean, he got
Dodger somehow has Juicy pinned to the ground. He's beaten him to the face. Okay, and all of a sudden Mancini's like Dodger, which must be their safe word because instantly the violence stopped. So this is another instance of what their love life is like. So what's hilarious is when he says it, when he yells at Dodger, everybody stops. And I said to Brandon, I went, well, the adult just showed up. So
yeah, it's true. The principal ran in.
Yeah, the principal's right in, so the whole fight stops. Everybody stops.
Yep. So back at the store, Tangerine talks to Dodger.
Yeah.
And he pretty much says that they can't be friends anymore and that she isn't pretty anymore to him.
Because he's seen how she is on the inside, you see.
She's ugly on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last we'll see of Tangerine.
Yep.
Mancini tells them all of them that they need to get back into the Pail through dark magics.
Yeah.
He's realized that all he needs to do is like play some song backwards or some shit.
I believe he had a book that said truly dark magic.
Yeah,
really dark magic.
It's not working, but Mancini's got his eyes closed like an idiot. And so they all back up out of the door, being like, oh, you're taking us away.
They leave.
They leave. Split. They make it out the door as his magic sucks.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, at the end of his magic spell, it like throws him on top of the pail, like his butt down into the pail. It's supposed to be a funny moment, I guess.
Right.
And the kids ride off on their ATV 4x4s, and they wave bye. And that's the end of the film.
Yep. Which is funny to me because the whole movie he's like, we can't let them out. They're Pandora's box, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end he's like, well, I guess we just can't contain those nutty kids. They just let them right off. So that's Garbage Pail Kids, people.
That's our film.
That's our film. So the moral of the story was beauty is only skin deep, but black is too dark.
Yep, black is too dark.
I mean, obviously, here's my thing.
But those are the bad guys.
Obviously, some producer or somebody, some network executive at Topps was like, you cannot show a person like that. So they obviously cut it because, like I said, they made a point of showing every other cell.
And you can barely see that it's a
and
black
yeah, you
guy.
can't make out the person. But what they screwed up on was the celebration scene when they're all free. You see the guy there with all of them celebrating. Yeah. I mean, it should have been completely cut out of the movie. That's just, it's insane.
What's the rest of your views of this movie? Garbage Pail Kids, 1987.
It was horrible. Mm-hmm. I mean, watching this movie was like getting bludgeoned in the nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just terrible. I can't believe you made me watch it.
Yeah.
As to if this is worse than Winter Part 6, I just can't say. The problem is this. I never found myself bored watching Garbage Pail Kids. Okay. Winter Part 6 was unbearable. Yeah. Like how boring it was.
That second part of the movie.
Like with him pining over his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Like all that stuff is just unbearably unwatchable in Winter Part 6. I never felt that way. Like at least this was so bad, it was enjoyable bad, I guess to a degree.
Well, you didn't know it was coming
It was shock factor bad.
Yeah, it was
this
shock
movie.
factor. Yeah.
You know? What are your thoughts?
They obviously didn't know what type of movie they were going to make.
They obviously didn't have a script.
Well, they didn't have a script. They didn't have a real plot. The thing about it to me is exactly what I said when I heard that they were making this movie back in the late 1980s. How do you fucking make a Garbage Pail Kid movie? You don't. But they did, and you still don't. They couldn't do it. That's what it was. It was just obviously a thing where they were like, we've got to rush this out. This is popular right now. Let's make a movie. Doesn't really matter about the plot. Let's just put them in there, and people will go see it. Obviously, with $1.5 million in revenue from the box office, they didn't go see it.
Well, it's it's like you said. Like why would you make a movie based on trading cards? But then there's so many things that from our childhood that have been made into movies. Like I kind of felt the same way when you're like, why do you make a Lego movie? I watched the Lego movie. It was actually fucking great.
Well, yeah, everybody loves Legos.
It was a great movie, but it's like it's like.
But plus you've got the special effects now to make something like the Lego movie.
But still, even if you had special effects nowadays, why would you make a movie out of trading cards?
No, it doesn't make any sense. Well, that's ultimately it has an incredibly huge, identity problem is what this movie has. It isn't funny at all. The jokes aren't funny. It's not kid-friendly enough. It's got this pervy old dude. It's got...
Is he ever?
Yeah. You've got this girl who, granted, is hot.
But she's a terrible person.
Yep, she's a terrible person. And at the end of the movie, you're rooting for the boy. The whole thing about the boy is he wants the girl. And at the end, he realizes that she's not great. And so, yeah, he learns a moral of the story, but that's not really a fun story for kids to know, like to see.
But here's the thing, man. I don't think you're rooting for the boy the whole movie because he's literally enslaving kids into making like child labor. Like, I mean, it's like there's no hero in the film.
There's no hero in the film
because even the good guy who is Dodger is not a good person when it like in the core level. Of what he's doing and his actions in the movie, he's not a good person either.
I figured it out.
Everybody's using
Juicy's the hero. He was trying to stop this fucking sweatshop. He was trying to stop this old perv Manzini. That's what it was.
I mean,
Juicy's the hero of the movie.
I guess, yeah. I mean, better than anybody else.
Yeah, not funny. Terrible effects. Terrible music.
Just
a completely incredible identity crisis. Didn't know who the movie was for. They didn't know who was buying these fucking cards.
Let's think about your theory for a second. Juicy's the hero of the film.
Yeah.
Number one, let's try to prove that. Number one, he covers Dodger in shit in order to make him less appealing to Manzini, thus trying to free him from the pedophile trap that he is.
Manzini might have a scat fetish.
Okay, I mean he probably does. The guy's a freak, but I mean that's one thing that he was trying to do there.
He throws them in jail. He throws the kids. He You know,
He gets him. It's like DSS custody.
Yeah.
They're safer with the state.
Yeah.
Than with Manzini.
Exactly.
Trapped.
Well, of course. Well, and Dodger cracking the whip on them, making them make clothes.
What else did he do that was good?
And then
what did he do good for Tangerine?
Well, look. Well,
she's 17. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
She's 17.
She's only 17.
She wants to make a clothing line and basically run away to either, she said, LA or New York. 17-year-old girl running to New York.
Yeah.
She'll be turning tricks in a week.
I know he was keeping her money, probably putting it in a savings account for her.
Exactly right. And he was keeping her at home where she needed to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, Juicy was the hero of the film.
Probably was. And then they're just standing there behind the scenes at the fashion show and they get attacked out of nowhere by some greaser.
But ultimately, Juicy did not use child labor and enslave them to make clothes. Mm-hmm. He used his own charm to try to win Tangerine over. And he did not diddle kids.
Yeah, and he knocked out Manzini instead of doing, grave bodily harm to him.
Right.
So he used a more passive form of aggression against him.
Absolutely.
The only time that he roughed up Dodger in the beginning of the film, but we didn't see exactly what had happened previously to that.
And that might
maybe
have been,
he owed him money.
Yeah. He was running. So, given his actions in the film, I wouldn't be surprised if Dodger didn't try to pickpocket that money off of them somewhere.
Could have been. Buy hashish maybe with it or something. Who knows?
So, Juicy was the hero of the film. You're right.
That's what we're going to go with.
There it is.
The movie's horrible. The movie's terrible. It's
abhorrent
junk,
was the word.
It's abhorrent. It's gross. It's absolutely a piece of huge shit.
I got it. This movie was garbage.
That's right. So here's a little bit of the critics' view on it. Panned by critics, one of the worst ever made is this film.
All right.
Again, 0 rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Critics dislike the film's gross humor, acting, puppetry, inappropriate moments, the portrayal of the Garbage Pail Kids, and plot. You know what that's called? The whole fucking movie.
The whole film.
Karen James of the New York Times called the film too repulsive for children or adults of any age. And I agree.
Yeah, she's not far off. It's like I said, it's not a kid's movie. And that's ultimately the biggest problem. You're taking a kid's property and you're trying to make it appealing to what?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And
I still honestly don't know who the movie's targeting.
And if somebody said, Brandon, here, we're going to give you some money, you're going to take this movie, you can reshoot stuff and add it in and cut out stuff from this movie, what would you do? Well, obviously what I would have done was, the story about what matters on the inside, of course, is the theme of your story. You throw out all this other trash going on, focus it more on the boy and maybe the hardships of his life. Let's see his actual... Kids care about their parents no matter what they say, so they should have shown his family life. And have this be a story that you see time and time again with movies in the 80s and stuff, where these Garbage Pail Kids teach him a good story. It's actually funny. Every once in a while they might do something gross like their characters are, so I understand they were trying to do something. What do we do with these gross characters? Well, you can still have them do that, but you need to focus it more on the boy and these Garbage Pail Kids. And, maybe the hard life that he's got to live or something, or maybe the bullying and stuff like that. But the whole clothing line, slave labor, biker bar, ATV riding, just insane. It's just absolutely insane. And if they would have made it more focused on him and the kids, maybe it could have been a good movie. And you don't know if they're from space. You don't know if it's magic.
Yeah, what did this space thing have to do with anything?
All they had to do is say these are the way these kids look. Okay, honestly, if you'd have said these are the way these kids look, it would have touched more with an actual real world. If you see someone that has a disability, or maybe has some sort of disfigurement or something that you can somehow relate and say, look, that's how I would have spun the movie around. They should have gone almost 100% cutesy kid with this movie, and it should have been something that you see time and time again. But they could have added some moments of grossness or something to show the kids. But other than that, that's what they should have done. They shouldn't have done any of this pseudo-sexual stuff with Tangerine and a 14-year-old boy, and her pretty much locking him in due to her sexy body. And
a 60-year-old man and a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah. I mean, it's all over the place, and that's what I would have done. I would have been like, look, here's a cute story about a kid who realizes that... And at the end, he doesn't even get the girl. Usually these stories, it's like me and the girl and thumbs up. Don't have a 17-year-old girl that he's pining over. Have a kid his age and just have some little puppy love type stuff, and that's it. But no, they went on this huge tangent.
Yeah, usually, now that I think about it, in a movie like this, there would have been a second girl in the film that was about his age that always liked him.
Yeah.
And then he realizes at the end that's the girl he was supposed to always be with.
Napoleon Dynamite. With the girl with the
basically
the beads and stuff.
Yeah, basically. But you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
that's what they should have had, was the second girl that was always there, that he always saw, but he didn't realize that's who he was supposed to be with.
This movie needed to be Dodger and a couple other kids interacting with these Garbage Pail Kids.
Yep.
Okay? It should have been a little trio, him and his buddy and a girl, kind of like Michael J. Fox, Styles and Booth from Teen Wolf.
Hell yeah.
And then you've got the Garbage Pail Kids, and maybe they're not the most popular kids at school, because, again, that's something kids can relate to. And you have these other kids that show up. They're gross to the bullies, and, humiliate the bullies when the bullies are trying to bully, obviously, and let them know at the end of the day. It's almost like a mixture. You should have done a mixture of like that and
Teen Wolf and Little Monsters.
Yeah, or like Encino Man. You know what I mean?
Monsters.
Jesus Christ. Oh, that might be another movie we have to do.
I love Little Monsters, man. It's fucking great.
It's fucking Howie Mandel run them up. But yeah, terrible, horrible movie, and don't ever watch this movie. I'll never watch it again. I'll never watch it again. I will sleep peacefully knowing that these eyes will never watch this movie. There's nothing to watch. This is not a YouTube movie. This is not a movie to show somebody unless you hate them with a passion. So there's something for you, Jonathan. So yeah, there's some stuff in popular culture. The Nostalgia Critic, which we know.
Yeah.
He considered this film his most hated of all films. He mocked on the show, branding it the worst movie he'd ever seen, deeming it the Holocaust of cinema. Worse than Manos Hand of Fate, which I agree. Because Hand of Fate is just boring as shit, okay, and stupid. Saying that it's clearly not for kids despite being advertised as a kids' film, and Manos was made by someone who had no budget. I mean, Manos had literally $42 to make a movie. He further says his mother did him a favor for not letting him see the movie when he was a child, when it first came out. And then it shows here, of course, once again, Wikipedia, that apparently an episode of Family Guy, Brian got a brand new bag. Mayor Adam West, that we both know, happily acquires a copy of Garbage Pail Kids, the movie. Get this! In 2012, it was reported that Michael Eisner's company was planning to finance and produce the development for a future film based off Garbage Pail Kids. But luckily, in 2013, it was reported the film was canceled. So somebody finally had a fucking brain. It does not need to be made into a movie. It shouldn't have been. Ass. There it is. Alright. So what's our next movie for next week?
Shit, I don't know. But after watching this and the whole 80s thing, I kind of want to watch Masters of the Universe.
I need to buy that. Maybe I'll get it this week.
I mean, that would be a good one.
It's not bad.
It's not terrible. It's definitely got bad stuff in it.
I already know what's terrible in it. It's This World. Fuck This World.
Not Eternia.
I can't stand that, man. Whenever they take a movie and throw them into our word for budget reasons.
I think they straight took one of the gnome costumes from fucking Legend and used it in that film.
They probably did.
I mean, it looks exactly like it.
So there's Garbage Pail Kids, guys.
Yeah, we don't know what we're going to do next week. We didn't really discuss it before this, but we will, rest assured, we will find something. You know what we didn't talk about?
What didn't we talk about?
Wes Craven.
Wes Craven, yeah.
Wes Craven. We did strongly consider doing a Wes Craven film tonight. The problem with that is, I don't think either of us hate the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
No.
We should have watched 2 to prove to you how bad it was, is what we should have done.
And the movies we're watching, they don't have to be hate, because we've had plenty of great episodes of this without movies we hated. You know? But I think if I'm going to do Nightmare on Elm Street, I want to do them all together.
That's 8 movies.
Is it really?
It's 8 movies, man, in that collection I have that you got me. As my birthday present to me from you was the 8 film collection of Nightmare on Elm Street. So there's 8 of them. So
we're gonna.
But Wes Craven only directed, I believe, 5 of the 8 films.
Yeah, that's why I think in my mind I always have 5 written there, because that's when other people down the road took it for like New Nightmare and stuff like that. Right?
Well, I think in that 8 film collection too, I believe Freddy vs. Jason in that. So there's only 7 movies, and like I said, of the original 7, I think Wes Craven only directed 5 of them. No, that's not in there.
Thank God.
These are all the Robert Englund movies, but
the Freddy movies.
Yeah, the real Freddy movies.
Yeah.
But no, I do hate that Wes Craven. He was. I tweeted out, he truly, like, I watched, as a little kid, I'm saying little, 12, 13 years old, I could watch a Friday the 13th movie I couldn't watch a Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
No.
Like, they creep me out as a kid. Now, as I've gotten older, I think Nightmare on Elm Street is more comical, which is what Freddy kind of became.
Right.
Was more of a one-liner murderer. But I give Wes Craven credit because what he created was genius. He created a character that murders you when you sleep. He made you afraid to go to sleep. I mean, you know, he made a lot of great movies. In his later years, I think one of his best films he ever made was Red Eye, which was an amazing film. I actually watched it on Netflix one night. I didn't even realize that was one of his movies, but I watched it. It was great. I mean, it was a great thrill. And, of course, you know, the Scream franchise was good, too.
Oh, yeah. It was good. I like the first Scream. I didn't watch many of the other ones, though. But...
I saw the first two. I never saw 3 or 4. Okay. But I like the first two. No, I mean, he was a good director, dude, and he knew horror. And somebody said this week, you know, the horror genre lost more than a director of those films. They lost an advocate of those films.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he was very outspoken, and he always stood up for horror movies as not so much as their slasher films as they're still an artistic expression.
Right.
And he was a big advocate for saying, you know, these type of movies still have a place and they should still exist.
Yeah.
And that's the bigger loss, honestly,
right.
is that they lost that kind of advocate for those type of films, you know, more than what he gave. Because what he gave us will always be there.
Yeah. And Freddy's so iconic. He's one of the biggest. He is one of the biggest. Him and Jason are the two top dogs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah. Also,
when it comes to horror stuff. And you still got guys that are leading the charge with that stuff. I mean, even like a guy like Rob Zombie, who still puts out every once in a while a horror movie. He put out some. He's got that feel too. Eli Roth, he loves the horror movies too, obviously. Who else is there out there? I mean, I don't think Clive Barker's done anything in a long time.
He hasn't done anything in a long time, but you know, as far as ones that will affect us from like when we were younger, I'll hate it when Clive Barker's gone. Yeah. When John Carpenter's gone, will make me upset. But yeah, I hate to see that Wes Craven's gone now because he was one of those big people that, you know, growing up, he was one of those ones that we just, you know, whenever he made a movie, it was just
iconic names.
See it.
Iconic names. So, yep, he'll be missed, and we love Freddie, and we'll do him. We'll do him at some point.
Sometime down the line, we'll hit him.
Like 20, like maybe 15 years, we'll do it.
Sure.
10 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
We got plenty of time to do these things. So, well, there's our episode.
Yep, that's it.
So, if you want to follow me on Twitter for some reason, you can talk to me about the podcast or whatever. My Twitter handle is SavageGM.
And I'm Abe Randall on Twitter. I'm not very good about responding, but occasionally I do.
Yeah, he takes his eye off the ball every once in a while. And then we're Go Ape Podcast on Twitter.
Yep.
Go Ape Podcast on Facebook. Go Ape Podcast Show if you want to email us something.
At Gmail.
Yeah, at gmail.com, I bust. And, yeah, that's it. So this is a real stinky, shitty movie.
Yep.
And another one down. And this is episode 55.
55.
Impressive. Very impressive. Give us a review, I guess. We haven't had a review in a long time.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, though, is that I was just listening to an episode where we were talking about how we had 61 likes.
Okay.
We went from 61 to 100, like, very quickly.
Okay.
Like, much quicker than from the time we went to 0 to 60.
Right.
So, that's cool. It's on the up and up. And we still get some likes every once in a while here and there.
Yeah, so tell your friends.
Yeah, if you want to listen to these two willfully knuckleheaded, as one of our reviews said that we were.
Okay.
Which we both agree with, I believe.
Sure.
But yeah, hope we didn't step out of bounds on this episode. We hit some sensitive subjects. But
we didn't. The producers of that film did.
Yeah.
We just called them out for it.
I just can't believe Too Dark. I don't think
It's unbelievable, man.
They try to hide that, that's for sure.
I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
The movie is super racist.
The editor was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get rid of this,"
and real communist or something. Yeah. I don't know.
They were like,
where they have sweatshops.
Get this Too Dark out of here. You gotta crop that out. But that's it. And hopefully we'll see you guys. We'll be talking to you next week.
Hopefully a large group of our listener base isn't in some sweatshop overseas. And they play this, they pipe over the thing, and all of a sudden somebody's scrambling to turn this off this week.
Maybe be a charging heroic call to them, and they'll all of a sudden like throw off their shackles and bust down their oppressors.
It'll be in the news.
Yeah, they'll rain blows upon them, much like George Costanza's dad does.
Much like the General Thade in Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
Jumping 20 feet and smashing them. So, yeah, hopefully they will break out of their bondage.
So it's my week to pick a song. I have to play this shitty Garbage Pail song from this
Really?
movie,
You're going to find that thing?
I'm probably going to find it.
Go for it.
So that music will be coming in.
Go Ape.
Go Ape.
All right, go Ape.